Hello, and welcome back to Paul Robeson, Spirituals in the Key of His Life. Video 3, Troubles of Brewing. But by the mid-30s, Paul Robeson believed all the hype in Britain because he was a star and he was living the paramount life. He thought that the racism that existed in the States wasn't that prevalent in Europe until he realized that his celebrity barred him from many experiences that the everyday common folk of color and immigrants were experiencing. One day, he went past a prestigious restaurant and saw a sign in the mirror saying, "No dogs, no Irish, no black." He also saw the workers from Wales protest about their living conditions, where mules and donkeys were more valuable to the bosses than the lives of their workers. He became increasingly interested in global struggles against discrimination and oppression and set his mind to do something about it.
My soul's been anchored in the Lord, in the Lord, in the Lord. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. Oh Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Oh Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. If I should be in hell one day, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. I'll sing and pray myself away. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. Oh Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Oh Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. I'm gonna sing and never stop. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. Until I reach that mountain top, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Oh Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Oh Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Oh God, my soul's been anchored in the Lord.
As many Black entertainers who found major success in the 20s and 30s, they found it in Europe. However, Essie and Paul had to return to the US at the outbreak of World War II. But before coming back to the US, they made a trip to the Soviet Union for a possible film project. There, Paul was shown a light that was quite appealing to him. He believed that ordinary people was treated without racial prejudice. His views were influenced by interaction with the Soviet people, government writings and publications, as well as Soviet laws and regulations. After returning to the US, Paul spoke very favorably about the Soviet Union, not realizing that the government there pulled the wool over his eyes. These political opinions would later cause great political controversy and difficulties in Paul's life and career. Immediately upon returning to America, Paul was not widely as known as he was in Europe. However, in 1936, he did a live radio broadcast on CBS radio singing Ballads for Americans. It was a major hit and restored his status as an international and national star. During World War II, Paul Robeson also held benefit concerts, participated in the sales of war bonds, and becoming one of the most recognized voices in America. Paul Robeson's American career reached new heights in 1943 at the revival of Othello on Broadway. Paul performed in a Shakespearean play back in London at the West End in the mid-30s. However, here on Broadway, this show ran for a record-setting 296 performances, a standing record for Shakespearean plays on Broadway today. After World War II ended in 1945, Paul noticed some domestic problems here in the States against his own people. There were lynchings going on, and lynchings even of Black soldiers, Black military men. Men who offered their lives up for this country were being hung. So Paul held a meeting with Harry S. Truman, the president at that time, with a delegation of American Crusade Against Lynching to discuss the ongoing problem of these lynchings in the South against African Americans. The delegation urged the federal government to take a stronger action to protect African Americans. A heated debate occurred, and Paul warned President Truman that Black Americans would increasingly exercise their right to self-defense if the government failed to provide protection. The meeting was abruptly ended soon after that comment. Years later, Paul attended the Paris Peace Conference. Here at the Paris Peace Conference, Paul spoke against war, spoke against racism, and spoke against colonialism. Western newspapers misrepresented his remarks. Some falsely stated that Robeson said Black Americans would never fight against the Soviet Union. The political and media backlash was immediate and severe. Paul's actual comments really focused in on racial injustice in America and the need for international peace. These things came to a boiling point in 1949 at the Peekskill riots. Robeson was scheduled to perform at an outdoor concert for approximately 500 to 1,000 people for a group called the Civil Rights Congress in Peekskill on August 27, 1949. The concert was canceled due to members of the Veteran Parade broke through the woods and ran over the concert hall and started to rip up the stage where Robeson was supposed to sing. Paul's community met in Harlem and rescheduled a follow-up concert which over 25,000 people attended. They had trade union men to assemble a human wall to protect Paul. The trade union guardsmen even fleshed out one sniper's nest. The concert did run smoothly. However, protesters attacked concertgoers while they were on their way home. Fighting lasted for over 5 hours, over 10 square miles, and cars were overturned, and even 145 people were injured during this event trying to go home, many of them of color. There was very little help from the local police. As a result, 2 years later, Paul was blacklisted and his passport was revoked. Major concert halls and theaters wouldn't book him. Radio programs wouldn't allow him to appear or play his records. Records were pulled off the shelf. Even film opportunities were taken away from him. Paul was subpoenaed by the House of Un-American Activities, the Congressional House, and was questioned about his alleged communist affiliations. He defended his constitutional right during the hearings. He refused to be intimidated by the congressional investigators, and he became one of the most visible targets of McCarthyism during the 1950s. Even baseball legend Jackie Robeson was forced to testify against Paul. With his passport revoked, it prevented him from traveling internationally, where most of his fan base lied. He couldn't earn a living. His income went from $100,000 a year, which is equivalent to $1.4 million today, to like $3,000 a year, which is like $41,000 today. Even Black churches were afraid to book him. Churches where services began with 800 people, when Paul came up to sing, there were only 30 and 50 people left in the congregation. You see, FBI agents were outside writing down license plate numbers. Even the preachers left the service.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah. I'm sometimes up, I'm sometimes down. Oh, yes, Lord. Sometimes offeat to the ground. Oh, yes, Lord. The trouble I've seen, nobody knows but Jesus. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah. You get there before I do. Oh, yes, Lord. Tell my friends you'll see me soon. Oh, yes. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
Thank God for other performer friends that Paul had. They helped him through that time. Also, thank God for Essie. See, Essie made some smart investments in real estate to help pull their family and save their home during the time of difficulties imposed by the U.S. government. Thank you for joining me for part 3 of this 4-part series. I hope you found this presentation informative as well as entertaining, and I hope you'll join me for the very last video. Have a blessed day.